Hi, everybody.
Welcome to WFTDA TV. I'm Tool Time.
I'm Schwarmageddon.
And we're here announcing for the Crooked River Roller Girls versus the Chick Whips Junior Roller Derby for the 7th and 8th place for this tournament.
Indeed. We are excited. I don't know how many of you watched the Open Division game. That was insane. So many lead changes. I mean, it had to. I lost count. It was spectacular. Holy moly. These skaters are amazing.
Well, we just had a really good game earlier. Let me double check my notes, even though I just announced it. There we go. Rocky Mountain ended up taking 9th place. Gaplin getting in 10th. Right now, let's see, what are the seeds of these teams? So they're pretty close in ranking.
Legitimately so. Crooked River is the 7th seed, and the Chick Whips are the 8th seed.
And looking at this, as of July 11th, Chick Whips are number 11, and the Crooked River is number 10. So both teams
neck and neck, honestly.
So it can go either way. They're going to be going for the 7th and 8th places here at the 2017 Junior Championships.
Yep. Crooked River, you know, some competitive season sanctioned record information. They played against Toledo Junior, and they won 439-36. Damsel Dolls 400-78. Queen City 275-222. The list goes on. Indianapolis 211-140. Again, Queen City 292-130. Chick Whips lost to the FOCO Spartan Babes All-Stars 107-217. Rocky Mountain won. They won against Rocky Mountain, I should say, 269-215. And we're getting ready to get this show on the road. We'll read you some more stats at some point during the game.
And it looks like we have Steele out there for the Chick Whips going up against Devious for Crooked River.
Yes. And Devious is a very strong and agile skater. I've seen her play many, many times. And so the question is, who's going to get through first? And it is Steele of the Chick Whips that does get through, and she does get lead jammer. Devious still working to get past that pack, and she does with a little bit of an apex jump to the outside.
All right, Steele back in the pack. Crooked River putting up a strong wall. And calls it.
Yep. And the score is 3-0 in favor of the Chick Whips. Now jamming for the Chick Whips, it is number 22, and that is Crushin' Cowgirl versus 100 Rainstorm.
We want to remind you that we're still taking tweets at JRDA_rocks, #talk2JRDA.
Yes, we are. Please use that hashtag. Say hi to us, you know. We get a little lonely up here with our headsets on, and everybody else is doing their thing out there.
We have each other to keep company.
Yay! Thank goodness, Tool Time. All right, and who do we have going to the box?
That looks like one of
Number 13, that is Kickin' Ash. Meanwhile, lead jammer is Rainstorm. And don't discount number 22, and that is Crushin' Cowgirl, because she could score points if Rainstorm lets her, but she's not gonna. Rainstorm calls off the jam, scores 4 points. So now we have a little bit of a lead change, 4-3 in favor of Crooked River.
And it looks like we have number 12, Cinnamon Rolla for the Chick Whips, and going up against Nat, number 78.
Incidentally, Nat is aging out after this weekend. So after this game, she is going to be playing adult derby.
It's a sad day, but a good day at the same time.
You know, it is. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I know Nat. I've known her for years as Lil Nat. You know, now she's all grown up. She's just Nat.
Now she's just Nat.
Yep. Meanwhile, that is number 12, Cinnamon Rolla for the Chick Whips. Lead jammer. Meanwhile, Nat is working to get past that powerful Chick Whips wall. They're revolving so much to keep her from getting through the pack that I can't even keep up with whose numbers are on their backs.
Number 55, last line of defense, does a great job. That's Sassy Squash.
Yep. Yep. Nat finally gets through the pack. And the jam is called off. So again, we will have a little bit of a lead change. It is now 7-4 in favor of the Chick Whips.
And just in case you were wondering, Ghost Blocker makes an appearance on track 2.
Ghost Blocker, who are you going to call? Meanwhile, our jammers are Devious and
M&M.
M&M. I love M&Ms.
They're just great.
They're great with everything.
They really do.
And the whistle is blown. They are off and skating. And my God.
Looks like Crooked River is down 1 blocker.
Yes, Crooked River is down 1 blocker. And we have our lead jammer in M&M.
See? Power jam.
The power
jam.
chocolate.
The power chocolate.
I love it.
Excellent sweeping on the outside of turn 3 by the Chick Whips.
And we have an All About Derby Power Jam in favor of Crooked River. M&M is in the box. We're checking to see who's aging out. Nobody on the Chick Whips, unless they didn't let us know. But we do have 3 aging out. Zilla, Slugbug, and Nat from Crooked River.
And if we're reading the notes right, then it looks like this is the second time we've seen Crooked River at a JRDA tournament
True
at
story.
2016 Champs, where they took 9th.
Yep, true story.
But this is also the first time we've seen the Chick Whips at a JRDA tournament, so it's interesting to see what's going to happen.
That's good stuff, seriously. All of these teams that are playing on both open division and all female, they deserve to be here. They did a lot of work to get here. Meanwhile, we've got M&M back on the track, scoring 4 points on that scoring pass.
And it looks like we may have a cover pass from Devious.
No, I don't think so, because the pivot, that would be Slugbug, number 75, is on her way to the box.
Now Crooked River's down 2 blockers.
That's hard.
It is. We had one earlier yesterday where all 3 blockers were going to the penalty box at the same time, which left just 1 blocker.
Yeah, that happened during a DOD game yesterday. I think it was the DOD versus Crooked River.
That was the game, yes.
Yep, and I was just like, oh my goodness, the insanity.
All right, we have Steele jamming for the Chick Whips going up against Megan U. Fall for Crooked River.
Yes, indeed, but Crooked River will start very briefly, a little short, 2 blockers, or I should say a blocker and a pivot. And the whistle is blown, and off they go.
Kryptonic K back from the penalty box, coming in to help out her jammer.
Steele, lead jammer for the Chick Whips. Jamming is hard work.
I do not miss it even a little bit.
No.
I miss the glory of it. I do not miss the 4-person wall.
Nope. Every time the cover was handed to me, I was like, no. And then they'd make me do it.
But I don't wanna.
That's pretty much where I was at every time. I give a lot of credit to these jammers. They have a target in the shape of a star on their heads. Meanwhile, Megan Ufall is working very hard to get past number 3, and that would be Wrecking Ball. And she does get past just in time for the jam to be called off by Steele. Steele scores 4 points for the Chick Whips. No extra points for Crooked River. The score is 20-12 in favor of the Chick Whips, which is a tongue twister. It is hard to say Chick Whips.
Hi, welcome to my weekend. And just in case we do have any Chick Whip or Crooked River fans, under hashtag talk to JRDA at JRDA_rocks. And if you're having a JRDA watch party, hashtag JRDA watch party. And it doesn't have to be more than 1 person. It could be a me party.
No, me, myself, and I. Meanwhile, it is an all-about Derby Power Jam in favor of the Chick Whips and number 22, Crushin' Cowgirl, who is lead jammer in this Power Jam. Sponsored by All About Derby. If you need Derby goodies, skates, pads, whatever, go to allaboutderby.com. Do the thing. Lulubai Baby and her husband Scott will take care of you.
Yeah, they're over on track 1, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They've been there the whole weekend.
And we have a jammer change.
All About Derby Power Jam has changed as Crushing Cowgirl is in the box.
So I'm going to say All About Derby has made bank this weekend because a lot of skaters here weren't expecting the floor to be as high polished and slippery as it is.
Dude, that is no joke because just walking on it is slippery.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what shoes I'm wearing. And I've stuck with flats the whole weekend because, I don't want to fall quite too far. So no heels for me this weekend. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, this Power Jam has gone back and forth. Crushing Cowgirl is back out of the box. And then Megan You Fall is back in the pack. So there's been a switch up throughout this entire past probably 2 minutes, if that. No, not even 2 minutes. Let's be serious. It feels like 2 minutes.
30 seconds left in the jam.
Like a 30-second switch out. There's a whole lot of motion going on in that pack and some recycling being done to Crushing Cowgirl. Meanwhile, number 13, Kickin' Ash, on her way to the box. Did not see what the penalty was. There was just so much action going on in that pack. And
Agreed.
The jam has ended. Chick Whip still in the lead with 34. Crooked River Roller Girls, 12.
And it looks like we have number 78 for Crooked River, Nat, going up against number 12 for the Chick Whips, Cinnamon Rolla.
I love these names. Like, every time I hear a really good derby name, it makes me smile.
I have to agree. That is one of the funner parts about it, unless you have a really big tongue twister.
Yeah, right?
Like, keep it to less than 2 syllables, please.
I can't handle it. My Brian just can't do it.
Chick Whip's down 1 blocker in the penalty box.
And oh my goodness, it is a battle to get to the front. And it is Cinnamon Rolla. She is your lead jammer for the Chick Whips. Meanwhile, Nat's still working to get past number 47, Baby Doll.
And number 187, Popper.
Yep. Popper's holding true to her name, man. That's for sure. Meanwhile, 5 points have been scored by Cinnamon Rolla. And so that will bring the lead up to 39-12 for the Chick Whips.
And number 13, Kickin' Ash, going back to the penalty box.
Yeah, that's, I believe, her 3rd trip to the box in less than 10, just over 10 minutes.
Definitely when you're in championship games like this, penalties are just free points for jammers, which works great for a jammer, not so well for the other team. Not to mention in the second half, their expulsions after a certain number of penalties.
7.
Indeed.
I remember back in the day when there were 4 minors and that equaled 1 major. So you could go to the penalty box what felt like a million times. And then after you got 7 majors, which, 7 times 4, I hate math. 7 times 4 got you off the track. Now it's just 7, straight up.
I do not miss those days of reffing when there were minor penalties. It was just pure madness.
It was insane, to be quite fair. Hey, we've got some stuff to tell you, too, some really cool stuff.
Ooh, what kind of stuff?
Oh, my goodness. The International Junior Roller Derby Tournament and Roller Disco, that would be my jam, in Copenhagen, August 11th and 12th. 145 junior skaters aged 10 to 18 years from 9 countries. So much speed, so many hits, so much action. USA, Belgium, France, Sweden, England, Scotland, Germany, Holland, and Denmark. The games are Friday and Saturday. And the roller disco, what is this? I am confused. I'm looking at August 11th and 12th. All I can tell you is that the tickets at the door are the same for adults and kids. And back to the jam, on the jam line, it's Rainstorm versus Steel. Not the first time that they were matched up, won't be the last. But if you're interested in going to the International Junior Roller Derby Tournament, Steel is lead jammer, by the way, go to www.catrollerderby.com or check out Facebook, Cat Junior Roller Derby. Streaming for this event will be free if you can't go. Rainstorm gets through the pack. She is going to the box. It is an all-about Derby power jam for Steele, who hits it and quits it and scores 4 points for Chick Whips.
All right, looks like Crushing Cowgirl for the Chick Whips is going to come in for the All About Derby Power Jam.
And yes, she is. It is an awesome sponsor to have. They're really good to the skaters. They really are.
And it looks like Crooked River is getting up to the pivot line. Maybe not the best idea with Crushing Cowgirl, because if she has some distance, she can get some maneuverability.
Like right there. And she gets through, and she is lead on this All About Derby Power Jam.
Crooked River sending a blocker to the penalty box.
Yes, indeed. So there are 2 in the box. 1 blocker, 1 jammer. And it's hard to play short like that.
It really is. It definitely tests your endurance, which is why off-skate preparation is just as important as on-skate.
Cross-training is paramount, you guys. Paramount. Cardio, which I like to refer to as cardi-no, is extremely important for stamina. And that's 5 more points for Crushing Cowgirl.
And Rain back in the pack.
And
gets
she gets
through.
Yes, she does.
Both teams back up to full power on their blockers. Spoke too soon. Crooked River sending a blocker to the penalty box.
Crushing Cowgirl calling off the jam.
And that's number 2, Kryptonic K, in the penalty box. Right now we have number 17 for the Chick Whips, M&M, going up against Adrenaline Rush for Crooked River.
Yep, and Adrenaline Rush really is a good jammer.
She's definitely got a lot of power behind her, and she has a really great maneuverability as well.
Track awareness, too.
Oh, yeah.
So important. And she
And
just plows. But number 17, M&M, is the lead jammer for the Chick Whips. Adrenaline Rush working very hard to get past number 187, Popper.
An excellent sweep off of turn 2, bringing her back.
Oh, recycling, not just for bottles and cans anymore.
Popper and Sassy Squash definitely doing some work on that
Sassy
jammer.
Sweat. And for those of you that are listening and aren't accustomed to hearing JRDA being announced on WFTDA TV, we appreciate the fact that you're here listening to us. It means a lot to us. We're not exactly the same, even though we do follow the same rules. So we do thank you for your time and your efforts. And please stick with us. We love it.
All right, looks like we have number 2674, Starry Skies for Crooked River, going up against number 12, Cinnamon Rolla.
12 dozen. That's a lot of cinnamon rolls.
That's called a snack.
That's not a snack.
It's not a snack for people who think that's too much. You know what I call that? Quitters.
Meanwhile, we have a timeout. And it appears to be,
timeout.
it appears to be kind of official. You know, when the officials call it, it's pretty official.
Officially official.
Yes.
And it looks like Crooked
quick.
River is down 2 blockers on this one. That's going to make it a lot of work for Starry Skies.
Oh, my goodness, for sure. But you know what? Sometimes that's not always the case. And here is a prime example. She got through, and she got lead jammer with only having 2 blockers to protect her and help her get through.
Definitely some hard work done by Starry Skies on that one. Both jammers now back in the pack.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Rolla finds a hole on the outside, gets 4 quick.
Yes, she does. Meanwhile, Starry Skies doing some work, hoping her blockers are going to help her get through. And it's hard. You know, some of these blockers are really, really just, they're like rocks.
Yeah.
They're immovable. Meanwhile, we've got number 88, Megan Ufall, going to the box for Crooked River. So Crooked River will start this next jam short by 1.
And it looks like we have Steele out there, number 424 for Chick Whips, going up against Slugbug, number 75 for Crooked River.
And Slugbug has been playing forever as well. And she is also about to become JRDA alumni. We don't like to call it aging out, even though it's really hard. And if I've said it in the past, my apologies, because aging out makes it sound like we're putting them in a home. We are not. They are moving on up.
No, they're going to a farm where other JRDA members go. And they play and skate all day.
Meanwhile, talking about playing and skating all day, that would be number 424. Steele as lead jammer. Slugbug going to the box, which means for Steele and the Chick Whips, it is an all-about Derby Power Jam. Good stuff. I mean, not good stuff. When your jammer goes to the box, you know what I mean.
Steele finding a hole on the outside.
Yep.
Puts another 5 on the board.
She really makes it so, it looks so effortless, you know? Oh, but it's the effort is her skating as fast as she can to the penalty box, because now the All About Derby Power Jam is going to go to Slugbug and Crooked River.
Crooked River definitely needs some points on the board, but just under a minute left in this jam.
Yes, indeed.
Chick Whips close to breaking the century mark, but don't count Crooked River out yet. Both teams are still well ranked right around each other.
Yeah.
Only a 1-point difference between the two.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing, but then again, it's everything, you know? It either lights a fire under you and makes you work harder. Oh, wow.
That was a nice sweep.
So close, though. Slugbug almost didn't go out. She spun around, she was bent over when she did it, and wound up outside of the line.
Number 319, Tsunami for the Chick Whips, doing some work on taking the jammer out.
Yep, yes indeed. And Steele's back there, scoring 5 points on that scoring pass for the Chick Whips.
Tsunami going to the penalty box, but doing some great work again on turn 4.
Yes, indeed. And the jam comes to an end. The score is presently 18 Crooked River, 98 Chick Whips. On the jam line now, it is Crushing Cowgirl versus Rainstorm.
We're just under 11 and a half minutes left in this half. We want to remind you, we are still reading off tweets at JRDA_rocks. Hashtag talk to JRDA. Let us know how we're doing. Show your team some support. And if you're having a watch party with the team or just having a me party, hashtag JRDA watch party, post a picture of it, and you could win free JRDA swag.
Indeed, and when you do your tweets and whatnot, just be polite.
Agreed.
I'll admit, this is my second time ever doing live feed. I've been announcing for, gosh, I want to say maybe 9 years-ish. And in all these years, I've never done this. But here I am.
Well, this is a first for me. First time streaming live on WFTDA.tv. Also, my first JRDA championship. I've done a number of regionals with our beloved head
Al B.
Al B.
Love Al B. I want to thank him for believing in me, because seriously, I didn't think I was going to do it. I thought I was just going to call house. But guess what I'm doing? Talking to you fine people. All over the world. No pressure.
No pressure.
Meanwhile, now waiting to jam, it is Rainstorm and Crushing Cowgirl. Number 100 and number 22, respectively.
Chick Whips down, one blocker, Tsunami.
Yep. And now it is an All About Derby Power Jam for Rainstorm and Crooked River. Rainstorm actually came from Toledo Junior Roller Derby. And she's been playing with Crooked River for a little bit now. Very strong skater, for sure.
It's going to be interesting to what happens in WFTDA with the adult teams once we see these kids en masse aging out. I haven't done the math, but there's a lot of skaters just on this track that are going to be aging out this year, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do to the sport of roller derby.
So many JRDA alumni after this weekend. I mean, on the open side, a lot, you know. And Rainstorm calling off the jam. No points on that last scoring pass for either team. Now jamming. It is number 17, M&M.
Going up against 2674, Starry Skies.
Yes, indeed.
Both teams at full strength with the blockers, and they are taking the pivot line.
Yep. The old pivot line.
I remember when it was a thing.
I have a bumper sticker on the car that we're selling to our son that says occupy the pivot line. That's how people recognize that car. Plus it has black roller skates imprinted on each side. And it is M&M. She is your lead jammer.
And
for
enjoying an All About Derby Power Jam.
That's right. That's because Starry Skies is in the box.
And it looks like one of the Crooked River skaters was taken out, being brought over to the medical station. That's number 88, Megan Yu Fall.
Hope she's okay.
Looked to be grabbing the ankle a little bit, probably just a good strain. I know the ankles have got to be hurting these kids because it takes a lot of control on a floor like this.
Number 78, Nat, also on her way to the box, shrugging her shoulders along with her father, Coach Nick Numbers. They're like, I don't know. Meanwhile, M&M getting around number 10 Flying Fish on the outside line, but just inside of it, getting through the pack and calling off the jam. We have less than 9 minutes left in this first half, you guys. I hope you all are enjoying your weekends. I know we are here in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. Oh my gosh. If you have not come to Colorado, you must. I have made it crystal clear to my husband that we need to come back. It is gorgeous. Meanwhile, on the jam line, it's Cinnamon Rolla, number 12 versus number 42, Adrenaline Rush for Crooked River.
And that's a strategy I haven't seen in a while. One pack starting at the jammer line, another one at the pivot, calling a no pack at the beginning.
And because of that, maybe, number 12, Cinnamon Rolla, is lead jammer for the Chick Whips.
Adrenaline Rush takes a nasty hit just off a turn 2.
Yeah, that hurt me.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Cinnamon Rolla doing a fantastic 360 to get around one of the Crooked River skaters, and she scores 5 points on that last scoring pass.
And it looks like we do have a cover pass off to Nat. But Cinnamon Rolla not taking any chances, calls it. Current score is 23-121.
That's called track awareness, and it is super key when it comes to playing roller derby. On the jam line, it is number 100, Rainstorm, versus number 424, Steel.
Both teams at full strength with their blockers, hugging the pivot, the jammer line now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now they're back to the new school spot, the jam line.
So 9 years announcing.
9 years.
I am coming up on 10 years in Derby, period.
Woo.
Yeah.
And your lead jammer is Steel for the Chick Whips. You know, and the amazing thing about these skaters is some of them started so young.
Oh, yeah. Sugar and Spice, who I announced with the other day, she's been in it for as long as I have. Excellent wealth of knowledge on Derby, and it's great that we're having these juniors announcing streams and games with us, because we understand that this floor is hard, but they have the first-hand opinion of it.
Yeah. I mean, some of us have reffed, NSO'd, and played. I've done it all.
And now we're announcing.
I know. It's because my bones can't take it anymore. And Steel calls off the jam, scoring 2 points for the Chick Whips. Yeah, I mean, the athleticism of these kids, I can never say it enough. You know, like number 78, Nat, and number 22, Crush and Cowgirl, who are on the jam line right now, as well as all of the blockers. These are kids who, this is what they do. You know, some kids do track and field, and some do theater arts, and some play football, and whatever. These kids probably do some of that too. But they also play this amazing sport, which I wish more people would believe in, because, and more people are believing in it.
We're gaining ground slowly. I mean, think of where we were 9 years ago.
That's right. And right now, speaking of where we are, number 22, Crush and Cowgirl, is lead jammer. Chick Whips are consistently getting lead jammer, and now this is not just a lead jammer situation, but an all-about Derby power jam in favor of the Chick Whips, because Nat is going to the box. Oh, and wait, that's about to change for a moment. The All About Derby Power Jam is going to become in favor of Nat for a few seconds because, as we all know, and for those of you that don't, when a jammer goes to the box and then another jammer goes to the box, the first jammer gets released, the second jammer serves the same amount of time as the first jammer, and then she or he gets released.
Fly by the star, the more you know.
We need that graphic. Meanwhile, on their way to the box is number 2674, Starry Skies for Crooked River. And she will be joined by number 110, Loomis Perfect. Yep. Oh, and Crushing Cowgirl got around. Can't see the number of the skater, but she did get around and no problem scored 5 points. Meanwhile, number 45, Serial Killer for the Chick Whips, in the box.
Number 187, Popper, back in.
Indeed. Both jammers on the track.
And now Crooked River is back up to full strength on blockers.
Yep, and Chick Whips are just one blocker down with Serial Killer being in the box, but she won't be in for much longer. She'll start the next jam in the box, but she won't be in there for very long at all. And now jamming for Crooked River is Zilla.
Going up against M&M for Chick Whips.
Yep.
Just under 3.5 minutes left in this half.
Wow, this is flying by, actually.
It is. It's a very clean game by both teams. Thankfully, we haven't had any delay of games.
That's a beautiful thing because, you know, some people would like to eat at some point today, I'm sure. And it is an All About Derby Power Jam for Zilla.
M&M going to the penalty box for a cut track. And Crooked River with your lead jam courtesy of Zilla.
And it is sponsored by All About Derby. If you don't know about All About Derby, look them up, www.allaboutderby.com. Zilla scores 5 points on that scoring pass in favor of Crooked River.
As I said earlier, I know All About Derby's been making bank this weekend because the first few games that we saw, people were sliding and gliding all over the place. Yesterday, new wheels as far as the eye could see, and everyone skating on the pavement to get the new off.
Oh, wow. So Chick Whip's jammer came out of the box, and now she's going back to the box. So that's number 17, M&M, back in the box. And it is still an All About Derby Power Jam in favor of number 333, Zilla, and Crooked River. I mean, this can only help Crooked River in their cause. Meanwhile, Adrenaline Rush, number 42, in the box. She is Crooked River's pivot for this jam. And thanks to a good sweep from Slugbug to Smack and Cheese, Zilla was able to get through and score some more points. Meanwhile, number 613, Smack and Cheese, is in the box for the Chick Whips. I mean, not for the Chick Whips. She's with the Chick Whips. It's not good for the Chick Whips to have anybody in the box, or anybody's team for that matter.
And that's the jam. Zilla tried to power through the Chick Whips wall on turn 3.
Yep. Meanwhile, on the jam line, we have number 100, Rainstorm, versus number 12, Cinnamon Rolla. Both have the star. They're waiting for the whistle. Everybody's getting themselves in position on the floor. The Chick Whips are, well, they were going to start at the pivot line, but now they're going to make their way back and make friends with Crooked River.
Well, that's a great thing to see. Even between jams, we see them talking to each other, laughing to each other. We had a dance-off just the other day. So it's great to see that level of sportsmanship in these young athletes.
Rainstorm is lead jammer for Crooked River. Meanwhile, Cinnamon Rolla is working real hard. She does do a 360 and gets around, but she is going to the box, which means it is an All About Derby Power Jam for Crooked River. Right now there is a 100 point
difference.
Good Lord.
And that's the end of the period. We are now just on the jam clock, a minute 20 seconds under. It has been a long weekend of talking, hasn't it?
Yeah. And yet the whole drive home I will be talking still because that's what I do. Meanwhile, Rainstorm calls off the jam, and we are at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. So go grab your snacks and your beverages, do what you gotta do, and come back and see us in 15 minutes.
But just in case you're done with those snacks, be sure to check us out at JRDA_rocks, #talk to JRDA. Let us know how you're feeling out there in the Derby universe. And we'll be back soon.
Yes, we will. And we are back. Tool Time is in the process of gathering up some stats. And we have less than 2 minutes left before we get this show back on the road. I am Schwarmageddon. I am hoping you all are having a fantastic time and a wonderful weekend, because I know I am. The Derby here is phenomenal at the JRDA World Championships. And this is, gosh, I'm at a loss for words, because what I am seeing in both the open and the female division is just incredible, incredible, incredible athleticism. I just can't put it into words. If you aren't, if you know people that aren't watching, please call them up and tell them to come over, hang out with you, bring some snacks. It'll be great. And watch this event, especially the championship games at the end of the day. I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Am I right?
You're right, but I'm sorry I have to bring some stuff that's not all good to the floor.
Womp womp.
I've got the penalty counts, and there are a lot of marks. Kryptonic K with Crooked River is sitting at 5 penalties right now. There's a good number of Chickwit players that are at 3 penalties right now. Smack and Cheese, number 613, is at 4 penalties at the moment. And just adding my own personal opinion in, it's the penalties that have been hurting the Crooked River this much, because every time a jammer goes through and there's someone in the box, that's a point that can come back.
This is true. And I mean, track awareness is important. Track awareness is what helps keep penalties down. And of course, a knowledge of the rules. You got to know the rules if you want to play the game, which sounds like a quote from the Spice Girls song, and it is. But it's true.
Hey.
I like the Spice Girls. I don't care what anybody says. Coach Payne hates them. That's why I put the CD in the car, and I turn it way up, so when he turns the car on, he's blasted. I'm mean.
No, you're just in a committed relationship, and after a while, you just got to keep things fun.
Every day of my life. So we are getting ready to get back to it. Rainstorm waiting patiently on the jam line, and it will start off as an all-about Derby power jam because number 12, Cinnamon Rolla, is in the box. She is in the box with number 55, Sassy Squash, and number 613, Smack and Cheese. So meanwhile, we are trying to catch up on making sure we've got all of the penalties in order. We're trying to give you as many stats as we get. So we do appreciate your patience and understanding. It is a little different than WFTDA announcing on the live stream for sure. But hopefully someday the two will be neck and neck. And as long as we keep doing a good job, maybe we'll get invited back.
I think we're doing a great job. You can let us know if we're doing a great job at JRDA_rocks on our Twitter account. #talk to JRDA. Speaking for the both of us, we would love to hear your feedback.
But be polite about it, because that's the only way to go. And speaking of the only way to go for number 100 Rainstorm was to get through the pack on this all-about Derby power jam, which is now coming to an end. But she is now lead jammer, and she took an amazing hit from Eminem into the center and was recycled. Meanwhile, Cinnamon Rolla back on the track. Not lead jammer. That doesn't mean she can't score points. However, the pivot for Crooked River Slug Bug is now in the box. So if Rainstorm needs a break in the next 30 seconds, that's not going to happen.
In the meantime, Cinnamon Rolla putting 4 on the board. Rainstorm putting another 4 on the board as well. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the second half, because we've seen giant lead changes disappear from after halftime.
Yes, and that is possible. Anything's possible in roller derby. Don't ever assume that just because there's a 100-point differential that can't be sealed up. Because I've seen it in the past. I couldn't tell you which teams because it's been years. But you never know. Number 333 Zilla could tighten up this lead against number 424 Steel, who incidentally are both on the jam line right now. It can happen.
I do recall one where Logan from the Attack Pack was in a jam, and if I remember correctly, I think it was in the low 50s in one jam.
Logan was a beast.
Is a beast.
Yeah, but I've never seen him play personally, and he's not playing junior roller derby anymore. Meanwhile, Steele is your lead jammer for the Chick Whips. But yeah, I've never seen Logan play in person. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that I would have been pretty awestruck. I mean, I really am. I'm awestruck by so many of these skaters.
Even because you did skate as a player, correct?
I did. I skated for 3 different teams over the course of 3 different seasons, which makes me sound like a job hopper. And I apologize for that. Speaking of which, I was going to segue somehow. Adrenaline Rush, number 42 on the jam line versus
Crushing Cowgirl for 22. The Chick Whips.
Yep.
The important thing is you tried.
I did, and it was fun. It was really, really fun. And I have such a love for the sport as far as the juniors. The junior level is my favorite, I'm not going to lie. And speaking of juniors, Adrenaline Rush is lead jammer. But Crushing Cowgirl, she is flying to catch up to her, preferably to get ahead.
Probably will jump ahead after turn 4.
And it looks like Kryptonic K has just come out of the box. That's number 22 for Crooked River. Now we've got Crushing Cowgirl working really hard to get past that wall of black and white.
And Crooked River Adrenaline Rush.
Good job.
One-on-one blocking.
Right on the toe stops. And Crushing Cowgirl scoring 4 points on that last scoring pass, which they really, really put her to work in this situation. Adrenaline Rush calling off the jam. Everybody starting at full as of this jam. And we've got Rainstorm on the jam line versus M&M, number 100 and 17 respectively.
Crooked River taking place at the jammer line. Chick Whips going up to the pivot line.
Old school, sorta. Oh, nope.
Nope, they're backing up.
I wish they quit messing with me like that.
These kids and their strategy.
The nerve of them knowing how to play this game. But it is M&M. She is lead jammer. And it is an all-about derby power jam for the Chick Whips as Rainstorm is in the box. So what is that as far as the penalty count for her? That's her second.
So far, that's her second one.
That's impressive, because it's hard.
It really is. When you're on a slippery floor like this and everyone's flying all over the place, it's really hard not to get a cut track, not to get a forearm.
Yes.
Because you can't just keep your arms in when you're trying to gain your balance out. You have to spread your wings a bit, as it were.
I agree wholeheartedly. Oh, and it is going to be an all-about derby power jam for Rainstorm now because M&M's going to the box.
And Rainstorm out of the box just before M&M can get in, so she gets a whole 30 seconds.
And that is her 4th penalty. Haha, I did some stats right there. It was great. Rainstorm working to get past number 187, Popper, and she does. Some really good derby, seriously.
Nice 3-person wall by Chick Whips off of turn 3.
Nice.
Finds a hole. 5 points for Rainstorm. And now M&M is back in play. They are neck and neck off of turn 2.
You know, I spent many, many years saying that junior derby was the future of roller derby. I lied to everybody, and I apologize. It is not the future. It's now. It is absolutely now.
Agreed with the JRDA, with the number of leagues that they have, even with the tournament that's going to be taking place in Copenhagen in early August.
I know. That's exciting. I wish that I could go. I've never been.
Something on the bucket list. We could start a GoFundMe, man.
Dude, I need a GoFundMe for a class I want to take, but that would be cool too. Meanwhile, Rainstorm scored 5 points on that last scoring pass before she called off the jam.
And we're having a problem at the Crooked River.
Yeah, looks like the Flying Fish number 10 not doing okay. May have taken a hard hit. I did not see it because I've got the screen in front of me. So we will just wait patiently for this this timeout or call off to end. In the meantime, speaking of Copenhagen, seriously, 145 junior skaters, age 10 to 18, you know, just.
And all across the world, what an experience would that be for any of the juniors that are here today to go to Denmark, not only to see a foreign country, but also to meet all those different players. Will the language barrier be an issue? Yes, but
yeah,
derby is a universal language that everyone can learn to speak.
And that's true. And I mean, even, you know, even the hearing impaired, such as myself, which most people don't know until I announce it to everybody, which is important sometimes, you know, it makes it harder with the language barrier. As a matter of fact, there is a skater for the Detroit Derby Girl All-Stars, and she is completely deaf. And from what I understand, the entire league is considering taking an ASL basics class just so that they can communicate with her better.
How cool is that? What kind of sportsmanship is that even?
How amazing is this? You know, I mean, and she is a wonderful, wonderful girl. And, you know, so I think that's really cool that they're going to do that. So as far as the language barrier goes for everybody, yeah, it exists.
It exists, but everyone can speak Derby.
Everyone speaks Derby.
And later on today, we'll even be talking about how JRDA is extending membership packages at
no matter what country you live in, no matter what country you live in, it's $200 your currency. How amazing is that? Your currency. So what's $200 US isn't $200, the same $200 Canadian. You all know this. So I don't have to tell you, but that's what they're doing. And now we are back to the game. And what we have is Little Miss Perfect, Soul Jammer, lead jammer on this All About Derby Power Jam. Meanwhile, we've got the blocker, the pivot, and the jammer from Chick Whips in the box.
Elba Virus doing some work for the Chick Whips off of the pivot line, blocking up the jammer. Yes. Excellent blocker on jammer defense up into turn 2. Crooked River putting 5 on the board.
And they need that. They need every single point that they can get. The score is presently, as you can see, 168 to 93. So it's their goal to tighten it up, you know.
And they're doing very well. They're starting to gain points little by little.
They are, and that's necessary. I mean, nobody wants a blowout. I don't know about the rest of you. I don't like watching blowouts. And this power jam has ended. Jam was called off. We're ready for the next jam. But I don't think blowouts are cool. I don't enjoy blowouts at all.
It is difficult to watch, and even for us as announcers to commentate on it. But the way I look at it is every game is a lesson. This is how they were beating us. This is what we need to change.
Yes.
This is what was working. This is what wasn't working.
This is
so
what we
although
need to
it is
stop
hard
doing.
to watch, it is a learning experience.
Yep. Speaking of experiences, we've got Steele and Devious on the floor jamming. Both blocking lines working extra, extra hard to keep the jammers from getting through.
And it looks like Steele
finds
a way, gets your lead jam.
It is indeed Steele. Meanwhile, Flying Squirrel, who also, if I'm not mistaken, came from Toledo. She's in the box. So each team has one player, one blocker in the box, and that is how they will be starting this next jam. One down. Kind of not fun when you're one down.
Better than being 2 down, which it looks like that's what's going to happen to the Chick Whips on this jam.
Yeah, we've got a pivot and a blocker. The pivot being number 613, Smack and Cheese, and the blocker is number 3, Wrecking Ball. I can't say that without hearing that song in my head.
Neither can anyone else.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Zilla doing some work on that 2-person wall.
Oh, yeah.
But Elba Virus going to the penalty box. Now Chick Whips are down 3 blockers.
Had a quick question posed to me by somebody from the JRDA, so I apologize for my moment of silence, so to speak.
I was enjoying it.
You sound like Daryl B. Payne. Oh, that
In
poor
the
guy.
meantime, Zilla putting 4 on the board for Crooked River.
Indeed. Man, I'm going to put you in the shed.
No comment.
Crooked River has 102 right now, so they have passed the century mark. That's good stuff, right?
That's great stuff.
It is. I think it's pretty impressive stuff.
So now 71-point difference, still with under 20 minutes left in the game. It can be done. Both teams putting up a strong fight. And as far as the rankings and the seeds, they are neck and neck with each other. The only difference that I can really see is Crooked River does have experience coming to JRDA tournaments in the 2016 championships where they came in 9th.
Yeah, you know, it just kind of is what it is. You know, there's strength of schedule to consider, and they had a really strong schedule. Speaking of really strong, number 42, which is Adrenaline Rush, she is a very strong skater but did not get lead jammer. That would be number 12, Cinnamon Rolla. But Adrenaline Rush is powerful, seriously powerful.
Absolutely. She's been impressing me all weekend.
She takes some really hard hits, and she plows through, and she is focused and determined.
That's the other great thing to think about these young athletes. They're taking solid hits because even just looking on the screen, sometimes you can see a bit of a blur. They are moving fast. And no matter how big or small they are, when something that going that fast runs into you and comes to a stop, that's a hard hit. And we've seen a lot of them here this weekend.
Yes, indeed. Now on the jam line is number 100, Rainstorm, versus number 424, Steele. Steele is so tall. My gosh.
Statuesque.
Very statuesque. And a really nice person, I gotta tell you. And she is also lead jammer, the triple threat. But Rainstorm has gotten through the pack, not just according to her jam ref, but according to the rules. However, speaking of the rules, Steele's going to the box because she did something she wasn't supposed to do. And now there's no more lead. This is an all-about Derby Power Jam on behalf of Crooked River.
And Crooked River are going to take full advantage of this minute and 30-second jam that they'll be going to.
Indeed. 2 minutes, and this is what they train for. I say it all the time, whether I'm calling house or, you know, day 2 of live feed. This is what they train for. If you are not cross-training, are you really benefiting yourself and your team? I mean, I don't think so. I think it's important to eat right and to train, not just skate.
You don't see very many teams in championships and tournaments of this high level that don't have at least one day of practice that is set for cardio and conditioning, and that's all off skates. And at the time, I know, just me personally, I didn't appreciate having to run 2 miles.
Cardi, no.
And then when I got on the track, and by second half, especially with just under 17 minutes left in this game, that cardio is definitely paying off.
Oh, we have a back block after a star pass. number 999, Ibella Virus.
And
in
she's
the
being
box.
joined in the box by number 187, Popper.
Yep, and we also had another star pass to number 88, Megan Ufall for Crooked River. And it is an all-about Derby Power Jam.
That was a nice juke on the outside of turn 4, putting 5 on the board for Crooked River. And unless I'm not mathing right, that gap is starting to close.
It is starting to close. Look at that, would you? 187 to 191 to 123 on this official timeout. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I think this is a pretty decent game. Next up, it will be the Pixies versus the Darlings of Destruction Supernovas. Neither one of them have played each other before, so it is going to be a very intense game, I'm sure of it.
And I know where you'll be for that game.
Right here. I'm not leaving. I've got my extra heavy-duty hairspray because, you know, the headset is not very forgiving when you have a mohawk. So here we go. See? Look at that. You should do something about that. I do hair, by the way, so, you know, just in case you were wondering. Not that I brought anything with me. This is kind of a vacation, but it's a working vacation. In the meantime, Little Miss Perfect, number 110, is waiting patiently for the timeout to end because she's going to start it off on an all-about Derby Power Jam. So she's hoping to tighten up, and there's been a score change, a little correction. The Chick Whips presently have 191. Crooked River has 118.
And the Chick Whips jammer is standing in the box, but Chick Whips are down 2 blockers.
Yep, and, you know, Crooked River doing what the smart thing to do is in order to get Little Miss Perfect out. They backed up just enough and then reformed. Meanwhile, Ibella Virus is going to work to get through the pack, but, you know, she is kind of taking a little bit of a beating from those Crooked River skaters, and it's an all-about Derby Power Jam now for the Chick Whips because Little Miss Perfect is going to the box.
It looked like a back block penalty called against her.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And Chick Whips, now in the middle of an all-about Derby Power Jam, are starting to get their blockers back in. Virus puts 5 on the board.
Good job. I'm always proud of the jammers because they are up against some really tough blockers because, you know, point protection. So when they do get through, as Ibella just did, and scores 5 more points for her team, it's an achievement. I think I got lead jammer once or twice in my entire Derby career, but I was proud of it when it happened after I was done laughing because they handed the star to me. Like, what are you, stupid? Meanwhile, Ibella Virus scores 4 points on that last pass. Little Miss Perfect scores 4 points for Crooked River. Chick Whips over the double century mark. What is that, bicentennial?
Bicentennial.
Bicentennial mark.
But double century mark, hashtag talk to JRDA.
Talk with the number 2, JRDA, to be specific. Little Miss Perfect scoring 4 more points on that scoring pass.
Just 10 seconds left in this jam. No.
And it could be a very long 10 seconds for sure. Number 911, Jolly Crusher, in the box for Crooked River. So Crooked River will start 1 blocker short.
Definitely getting a lot of love for Crooked River over in the parent section. 10-point jam. Chick Whips with an 18-point jam, which has been impressive since these scores have stayed fairly low.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm sorry, I think I'm funny. Number 12, Cinnamon Rolla versus number 333, Zilla on the jam line. Zilla, incidentally, is one of the skaters from Crooked River that will become JRDA alumni, as this is her last game as a junior skater, to my knowledge. I don't know what they've got planned after that before the season officially starts, but, you know, technically, okay, this is her last championships. Her last regional, anything huge like this as far as juniors go. Meanwhile, Cinnamon Rolla is lead jammer. Zilla going to the box, which means Cinnamon Rolla has an all-about Derby power jam.
All right, and Cinnamon Rolla putting 5 on the board for the Chick Whips. 13 minutes left in this game.
It's flying.
It really is a nice, clean game by both sides. Some penalties have been fairly light.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean the game-stopping penalties. Yeah. I'm sorry, I just looked down at the notes that I made. I was like, closer to 50.
On the jam line, starting off on an all-about Derby power jam is number 424, Steel for the Chick Whips. They presently have 224, as you can see on your screen. Crooked River has 128. Again, you know, just because you see a big point differential, never, ever, ever assume that that's how it's going to be, because it's not necessarily how it's going to be. I mean, I watched yesterday and called this game between FOCO and Des Moines, and it was mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Des Moines was the number 1 seed.
I heard about it from over here on track 1.
Oh, my gosh.
And we did have a cover pass off to Slugbug for Crooked River.
Yes, indeed. And Steele calls off the jam. I like how she extends her hand out to Little Miss Perfect, and they both smile at each other. Again, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it a lot. It is so important. Good sportsmanship is so important. In any given sport, in life, okay, let's be serious. In life, good sportsmanship. Just be a good person, you know? So these two skaters are competing against each other, but they're still friendly, and that's what we need. On the jam line, we have number 777 Devious versus number 22 Crushin' Cowgirl.
And that looks like a back block on Crushin' Cowgirl, and I'm proven right. That's going to make this an all-about Derby power jam for Devious.
Oh, yes, it
who
is.
gets your lead jam.
Yes, indeed. And she is a fantastic skater, you know, and she's so focused, you know. So that's what you need in this sport. You need focus, you need good attitude. Two of the most important things in this game, you know, and of course track awareness and the knowledge of the rules.
This is true. And Devious showing us you also need endurance, because that was some tough work.
Yep. I mean, you're basically, you know, you're defending yourself as well as trying to score points and defending yourself against people who are wailing on you.
Yeah.
You know, they're just wailing on you. You know, it's not the old roller derby where elbows and stuff were acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, this is different. You know, we're all about the safety. Safety is priority 1.
Yeah, I think within the last few years, just especially since I've been in, it went from being a novelty sport to where, you know, some people took it seriously, other people just had fun with it. And there are still leagues out there like that, and they're not to say anything against them, but WFTDA, the JRDA, MRDA, they all wanted to take it to the next level. So they started cracking down on names.
Numbers.
They started cracking down on the rules. I mean,
there was a
WIFTA
time.
has changed a number of times. WFTDA has changed a number of times.
And JRDA essentially mirrors, I shouldn't say mirrors, they coincide. Maybe that's not even the right term.
They keep pace
with. They are side by side with WIFTA as far as the rules and, you know, how things are handled, you know, and it's so incredibly important to be, what's the term I want to use?
It's important that they work together so that one organization learns from another.
You don't want opposites.
Exactly.
Because then they're not learning. Okay, at the junior level, if you are teaching them one thing and they go to the adults and then they've got to relearn everything because it was different, I'm not going to say wrong, but different.
Exactly.
And that, really, why does it have to be so hard? It doesn't, and that is why the JRDA and WFTDA work together.
And what better example of the two organizations working together than WFDDA.TV letting us stream live here from Loveland, Colorado for a JRDA event.
Yeah,
Championships,
huge
no
thank
less.
you. Huge thank you. And, very soon we're going to get back to the game. But, I'd just like to point out that if it wasn't for the JRDA, I'm not sure that these teams, both open division and all female, would have the opportunity to have a world championship. You know what I mean?
It's a fair point.
Why should the adults have all the fun?
Agreed, and that's why I'm glad that the JRDA has the female division, which we're on here now. But on track 1, they also have the open division. Yeah. And I'm in complete support of the open division because, one, if you seclude one, you're not any better than when they seclude you. Fortunately, I grew up on military bases, and girls could play football, baseball, basketball just as well as the boys.
Yeah.
Not saying that they were better than me, but they kind of were. But that's why I'm sitting here rather than playing sports.
Right.
But it's great that they have that open league so that the boys can play as well as the girls. And in a lot of leagues, it's paying off for a lot of them.
Yep. It's important. It's important to be unified and uniform. And speaking of uniforms, we have 2 groups of skaters in their team uniforms. Number 42, Adrenaline Rush, and number 12, Cinnamon Rolla, waiting for the whistle to be blown. And they each team has 2 blockers in the box. So now it's 3-on-3.
So it's 2 blockers per team, but the blockers having a good laugh had a dance-off earlier over by the pivot line.
That's good.
And it looks like Adrenaline Rush is powering through, going up against Cinnamon Rolla. It's anyone's jam. And Adrenaline Rush gets your lead jam for Crooked River. Cinnamon Rolla through the initial pass, and she is catching up fast.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, number 110, Little Miss Perfect, on her way to the box. Number 42, Adrenaline Rush, helping to knock Cinnamon Rolla off the track, getting through and scoring 4 more points. But also Cinnamon Rolla is scoring 4 more points as well.
And we're seeing a bunch of blockers for both teams coming back in.
Yes. This is good stuff, people. Good stuff. If you know somebody that, you think their child will benefit from roller derby, by all means, tell them about it if you haven't already. And I'd be surprised if you didn't, because I know I tell it to everybody. Junior roller derby is now. It is not just some passing phase, because if it was, I don't think we'd be here.
Nope.
It's been going. DOD's been around for 7 years. There are other junior leagues that have been around for longer. On the jam line now, we've got Rainstorm. And
it looks like we have an official review
Yep.
called by Crooked River.
Yep. It's officially official when it says on the screen, official review. And they put up the O.
All right, while we're waiting for the official review on this one, we just want to remind you to let us know how we're doing. Give your team support, give your league support, give individuals all the support you want on JRDA_rocks on our Twitter account, #TalkToJRDA. I got a hashtag the beginning of Catman for Tournament MVP. And if you're watching with your team or you're having a me party, #JRDA Watch Party. Send us a picture and you could win JRDA swag. I believe today is the final day you could submit those. Fortunately, we still have plenty of derby coming up. After this, your beloved Darlings of Destruction are going up against the Pixies, which is going to be a game I'm interested to see. And then we're going to have Gotham versus Angel City at 4 p.m. And then the grand finale at 6 p.m. Seattle Derby Brats, Galaxy Girls will be going up against the Santa Cruz Derby Groms.
Wow, and I'm going to miss that game because I'll be calling house for the Open Championship game. And, gosh, it's all so exciting. I wish I could be in 2 places at once. This whole cloning thing that people talk about is starting to be like a really good idea to me, because then I could be in 2 places at once and I could see all the derby. Yay! And it would be amazing.
Well, we tried to have tablets streaming
Yes.
one to the other, but then we ended up commenting about the other one.
Oh, yeah,
and,
no.
Al doesn't let us have any fun.
It is what it is, and it's okay because I'm just glad to be here. I'm honored, so incredibly honored. Just when I thought I was going to retire from announcing, I don't think I am.
Right when you think you're done with it, you peek at something.
And this is it. I thought this was the pinnacle of my Derby career, to be honest, And I will probably be back at it next year, and wherever else I can. If I'm allowed to do it, I'll do it.
All right, I feel like we're about ready to get the official review. All right, and that's the official review.
Yes, indeed. And she's losing her voice. All of the referees are losing their voice.
The only reason we're not losing our voice is because the wonderful people at JRDA are keeping us loaded with hulls, vapor,
and Ricolas.
And Ricolas and all the water we need.
Yes. Hydrate, because, man, it's dry. It is dry. It's dry heat. It really is. And I always thought that was a joke until this weekend.
Well, dry heat can do it, has that, but Rainstorm is going to the penalty box for a cut track. That's going to make this an all-about Derby power jam for Steele.
Number 424 is lead jammer for the Chick Whips. Meanwhile, also Starry Sky is going to go to the box. And so Crooked River will be down just a wee bit. Steele goes through the pack, calls off the jam. For those that, aren't aware, and most people that watch WFTDA TV are aware, if you hit your hips a minimum of 2 times, that means you're calling off the jam. So it's real important that you make sure that they see it. Number 22, Crushing Cowgirl, is on the jam line, waiting for the whistle to be blown, as she is on an all-about Derby power jam right now. And they are up at the pivot line. Everybody's up at the pivot line.
And they did that earlier when Crushing Cowgirl had a power jam, and it didn't work out well for him then. It doesn't look like it's working out too well for him now, but some excellent last line of defense by number 75.
Crushing Cowgirl, lead jammer for the Chick Whips.
Slugbug does a great job on that last line of defense, holding up while their jammer gets back into play.
And Crushing Cowgirl just smooth like butter, slid in through that inside line, through the pack, scoring 4 points. I'm a little concerned about Rainstorm because she slowly crawled into the center of the track.
We've all taken those hits to the ribs that just kind of knock the wind out of us. We're okay. We just need a minute. I
remember one team I played with, one of my teammates during scrimmage hit me so hard in the shoulder that I heard my rib cage actually squeak. Ooh. That's gross. It's so gross. And it feels really bad. Meanwhile, on the jam line, we have number 12, Cinnamon Rolla versus number 333, Zilla. I don't think I've ever seen Zilla jam so much as I have in this game. And I've seen her play for years.
Well, it's definitely paying off for Crooked River. She's put some good points on the board.
Yep, and she, like I said before, she will be JRDA alumni. Because we've got to stop using aging out. And your lead jammer is number 12, Cinnamon Rolla. Meanwhile, one of the blockers, number 13, Kickin' Ash, is in the box. So Chick Whips are down 1 jammer. One blocker. Sorry, guys.
We're getting loopy over here at Loveland, Colorado. It's the altitude.
Yeah, it's the altitude. I'm going to blame that. I like it. We'll say altitude.
Just under 5.5 minutes left in this game. Still a 100-point difference between the two teams, but Crooked River is definitely not going quiet into the night.
No, they are not. And meanwhile, we have number 10, the Flying Fish, going into the box. Zilla almost taking out Chefery. I'm assuming he's a chef. I'm assuming he's a chef. And Cinnamon Rolla calls off the jam, scoring 4 more points for the Chick Whips. Now on the jam line, Adrenaline Rush, number 42 versus number 424, Steel.
Adrenaline Rush having a great tournament this weekend. Has done a lot of great things on the track, both as a blocker as well as a jammer.
True, very
it's
true.
Very rare to find players that are equally powerful in both positions.
Yeah, that form of hybrid skater, you know, even when I was playing, I was told I really did need to work on being a jammer because it would make me a better blocker. And I mean, my coach was right, for sure. Oh, and speaking of, Adrenaline Rush is lead jammer for Crooked River. Steel is out of the pack, not lead jammer. Rockstar is not conducting an orchestra, contrary to what it looks like he's doing. Adrenaline Rush having to fight to get around that wall of white. Number 187, Popper, knocking her off the track and recycling her.
4 points on the board for Steel.
And it's, guess what it is? You say it.
It's an all-about Derby power jam.
Ta-da! And that will be in favor of the Chick Whips.
Minute left in the jam, and we're going to go the whole 2 minutes. Just under 3.5 minutes left in the game.
Yep, and we have a star pass. Steel passed the star over to M&M, number 17.
Your eyes are much better than mine.
Believe me, they're not. I'm faking it. Adrenaline Rush is back and on the loose, scoring 4 points.
Something else that we're seeing a lot here this weekend, especially yesterday, we saw any teams that were going to be facing each other in the brackets, watching each other. You could definitely see that taking place in one of the games we had yesterday. Let me double check my notes, make sure I got it right.
I think it's so important that, you know, yes, focus on yourselves and making your team better, but please watch other Derby, both adult and junior, please, because you learn so much from that. I know that my daughter is Sierra DeAngelis. She plays for Detroit. She used to be Gnarly Quinn when she was a junior and even a couple years into adulthood. She watches so much Derby, live streams, YouTube, going to games, whatever, all the time. All the time. She eats, sleeps, and breathes it, and I'm so thankful. Meanwhile, Crushing Cowgirl and Rainstorm are both jamming right now.
Sorry, I was still checking out my notes. The game I was thinking of was Galaxy Girls against Gotham. Galaxy on Friday was watching Gotham play against the Pixies last night. And they must have been using services like your daughter uses to check out Gotham because Galaxy was on point.
Yes, super important. I mean, I can't urge people enough to go and actually go to games, support your locals. If you are out of town and you need something to do, go find a Derby game. Watch it on YouTube. Watch archive footage, please.
And we also do thank you for watching us here on WFTDA.
Ooh, look at
TV.
that. Crushing Cowgirl, number 22, lead jammer. There was a whole lot of reverse jamming going on for a moment there. I believe it's called the Bonnie Thunders. If I'm not mistaken, if I am, my apologies. But it is kind of a neat strategy, I'm not going to lie. I think it's cool. You know, and I mean, it's, again, pack awareness. You know, what are you doing? Are you doing it right? Are you going to get a penalty for doing it? So you got to watch it.
Well, that's something else. The strategies in Derby have changed so dramatically over the last couple of years.
Yes. You know,
I remember when taking a knee defense was in action. The cockroach defense, as we called it down in Florida.
The cockroach defense.
The cockroach defense.
Awesome.
Which, well, it's just something I'm so happy with in a way, but all these strategies keep changing. They keep evolving. And that's always great to see. And I've actually seen a number of strategies used by JRDA leagues be adopted by the adult leagues.
I can't stand stroller derby. There was a time I watched a derby game where literally both teams and both jammers stood there for 2 minutes. And the entire crowd got angry.
Yeah.
And seriously, I thought it was ridiculous. Whether it was ridiculous or not, who knows? But the crowd was not amused. They want to see a game. They don't want to see people stand there. So I'm glad that that is pretty much coming to an end. And speaking of coming to an end, this game is close to that. On the jam line for this last jam, it is number 333 Zilla versus number 12 Cinnamon Rolla.
And we have a couple of people that are aging out on the jam line for Crooked River right now. They had a hug real quick.
Yeah. I mean,
definitely some high emotions.
Well, sure. I mean, think about it. You know, it's kind of heartbreaking. You've been playing together for years, and some might not be going on to adult derby. Some might be going on to something else, you know?
Like
and this
college.
College, whatever.
College.
Higher
Studies.
education. Boo. But, you know, every single one of these skaters in this venue that is becoming JRDA alumni, there are feels. There are huge feels to this.
All right, we're going to get to the end of these feelings because feelings.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew, feelings.
Yeah.
They're so gross.
And we got Cinnamon Rolla going up against Zilla. 20 seconds left in the period.
Oh, yes. And, you know, all these skaters want to be able to say that they did something, they achieved something. Cinnamon Rolla has achieved lead jammer status in this last jam. Zilla's still working to get through. It's just crazy, you know? It's crazy because, oh my gosh, it's an all-about derby power jam for Zilla and Crooked River.
Oh.
Because number 12 Cinnamon Rolla is in the box. Zilla's team, Crooked River, cheering. Because, hey, you know, it's hard to get through that back. You need a little pat on the back when it comes to that stuff.
And Crooked River definitely showing their teammates out there support, all standing at attention by the line.
Yes.
But Zilla goes to the penalty box for a cut track.
And we still have a minute left in this jam because, you know, the lead jammer went to the box. And, you know, if you go to the box and you're lead, you're not lead anymore. So Cinnamon Rolla has 54 seconds left to score some more points for the Chick Whips. And then this game is done.
And after that, we have the Pixies going up against the Darlings of Destruction.
Yep, the Supernovas.
Supernova!
Yep, and this is, you know, it's going to be a big deal because they've never played the Pixies. They always look forward to playing new people. It's fun. If you are not playing new, different people, you're doing yourself a disservice. You learn from this stuff.
Agreed. Not only do you become a bigger part of the roller derby community, you also miss out on different types of strategies, such as some teams are more strategic blocking. Other teams are more heavy hitters. But that is the unofficial final. The game is done.
Oh, yeah. The game has ended. We're waiting for the official final. You know, all the important stuff that people want to know because they're watching this stuff right now.
And we want to thank you for watching us on WFTDA.TV. Please let us know how we're doing at JRDA Rocks JRDA _Rocks. It's been a long weekend. Don't judge me.
Yeah, it has. That's not even a joke. It has been a very long weekend. We didn't have nearly as many announcers as we would have liked to. So we all stepped up. You know, and we've even got some juniors participating in calling house.
I was just about to mention the juniors stepping up to help us out. I think I will be announcing the champs for the female division with hot sauce.
And I am announcing champs on the open division side. And I'm not going to lie, I am so excited about it. Thank
Getting
you.
some thank yous
I
from the
love
chick whips.
fist bumps. I love it.
Boom.
What a good bunch of kids.
Boom. And Crooked River getting in on the thank yous.
That is so polite, and I really think that more leagues need to do this.
I agree completely.
Because we are volunteers, and thank yous are always a wonderful thing to have, you know? So, I mean,
they are.
Good
Because as you said,
game
we
to
are
everybody.
volunteers. We don't get paid for this stuff. In fact, we pay to do this stuff.
Oh, my gosh, do we ever. Do we ever. You know, nobody gets paid to play this sport. Someday, I believe that it will become professional. And part of me isn't excited about that because I really do think that it's kind of cool as it is.
I completely understand that. Once more and more leagues started becoming sanctioned, things did change. It wasn't as free-spirited as it used to be.
Oh,
but
yeah.
then again, we look at what we've gained from all of that. We've gained some amazing strategies. The rules are much better. We even have better officiating.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be we had to just guess on who the jammer was. Now we have all these information.
So important. My gosh. You know, it started off so punk rock. You know, when it was revived, it was so punk rock, and everybody was like, yeah, we're going to do this, and this is how it's going to be, and it's going to be like this forever, and we're all going to be BFFs. And, you know, then things change, and, you know, leagues sprout off of other leagues, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's just, it's such a big deal, you know, and everybody, you know, for the most part, really, really, really treats each other with love and respect, and I think that is so.
And we're seeing some of that right now between
are.
Crooked River and the Chick Whips.
Yeah.
Tears on both sides of the track.
Well, with 3 skaters from Crooked River, you know, becoming JRDA alumni pretty much as of now.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of hard. It's kind of heartbreaking. Think about
it is,
that.
But it's a good thing.
It's a rite of passage. You know, you have to grow up eventually. I mean, some of us do, and some of us don't. So, you know, congratulations to everybody on a hard-fought game. It was a hard-fought game.
Absolutely.
And,
well, speaking of other hard-fought games,
we got one coming up next.
We got another one coming up, Pixies versus the Darlings of Destruction.
Yep.
We want to thank you for joining us here. I'm Tool Time.
And I'm Schwarmageddon.
And we'll be happy to see you soon because we still got plenty of derby to go.
So much derby.